Hey guys, Martin here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so earlier today we got the details for the STR Dokkan Festival sale that is going to be releasing on the 1st of April in that usual April Fool's Day time slot. We saw his details and animations and everything earlier on today, so I made this post straight away, as I do now with these newer units, to get your guys' thoughts as a community on what we think about the new unit. Do you think he's good enough? What do you think of his design overall, leader skill, all that kind of stuff? And then we go through the comments for a video. So nothing new. I've been doing these community response videos to new units for a while now. We always get an interesting mixture of sort of reception, I guess, depending on the unit, right? A lot of the time, some characters are just straight out like super good or clearly not very good. This Cell one is interesting because he definitely has, it seems like, certain situations where he's going to look really, really good, but certain things like the leader skill, the fact that he's one of those units that like only he can die to get his revival, and then he has a couple of buffs that will be really helpful but are specifically tied to him being the one that revives himself. Meaning that if you're running double leads, like the other one literally can't get that ability to unlock, which is awkward design. I don't know why they would still be doing that kind of thing. Like that a unit having that kind of ability, I don't think is too bad, as long as it's not like a make or break like sort of thing. Whereas for this Cell, I feel like that post revival ability that he has makes him so significantly better that it is like a huge detriment to the other friend, like the friend leader, that they don't get it, or whichever one it is, right, that doesn't get the revival. But either way, let's jump in and see what you guys think. Obviously, I make this tweet, I leave it for a good few hours, then I come back and I record this video with the replies, and then the video goes up a little bit later on. Like, obviously, it doesn't go up straight away after being recorded. So if you did come to the thread and leave your thoughts, but you see here, obviously, you didn't make it into the video, or maybe you just didn't see the tweet at all in time before this video came out, do obviously let me know down below in the comments section what you guys think of the STR Cell. And even if you are someone who did get a comment in here, have you changed your opinion? I don't know. I know some people will have posted some calcs and stuff by now. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the replies. So we have our boy Proton, very niche release, but still needed. I like him. I think the only thing I don't enjoy about his kit is how his damage reduction and guard are tied to him reviving instead of anyone reviving. But he still looks very good. I mean, yeah, his individual performance, I feel like he is going to look good, right? It's just the fact that when it comes to a new Dokkan Fest coming out, especially, you know, he's the awaited, I say long awaited, but it's only really since the anniversary, but he's the awaited, like, first 220 lead for, like, an extreme kind of team. And I think his leader skill is maybe a bit of a disappointment. And again, the revival thing means that he's a unit that probably just has much more value when he's the only copy of, like, himself on the team, whereas running the double leads is not going to be as good. But obviously we'll have to see how it all plays out. But yeah, I saw this one really. This is a really random one from Stray, but yeah, don't worry, I'm fine. AC, he seems fine, probably a bit on the weaker side though, although his active is really strong. Why is 18 from the Buu Saga his banner unit? I mean, the thing is, that's what's interesting about this, like, and how the rest of the celebration is potentially going to play out, is that both him and his banner unit, it seems, are more orientated towards tournament participants than like Android/Cell Saga. So the Android 18 obviously is on his full leader skill and is providing him support, but it's a Buu Saga Android 18, which I guess in a way is good for her because Buu Saga is a much better team than Android/Cell Saga, but she's supporting tournament participant characters, which the Buu Saga obviously does have some of, but some of the biggest and best characters on the Buu Saga team aren't tournament participant characters, so it's not like she's a must-run support for Majin Buu Saga. So definitely a bit of an odd choice. And she's a super class, which doesn't really matter because Cell doesn't have anything in his kit where he needs to be run with extreme characters. But yeah, definitely an odd choice for the banner unit. But we have our boy Raldo. Unfortunately, he's just meh. Category choices are not the best one since he'll be limited to having decent link partners, and his revivability irks me where his damage reduction is locked there. Same as getting an extra attack and defense buff because you need a tournament of power enemy, tournament participants enemy. That is very true. Like, that 50% will make a decent difference when it comes to him, like, having, you know, putting out attack stats, his raw defense overall, like that kind of thing. and how many like tournament participant bosses do we have in major events at the moment. Obviously we do have the Goku story and Vegeta story red zones, where the final phase, before they'd added the like blue Goku and Vegeta, the final phases were of course the Tournament of Power with the Jiren at the end. There was the Universe 6 stage as well. Like there are a few of the bosses, like tough bosses, that are out at the moment that are in the tournament participants category, but unfortunately it's not something that's going to be active all the time. And it's not like the Bardock thing with LR Bardock, right? We were talking about this on the podcast, where when he fights a Wicked Bloodline or Transformation Boost enemy, he gets that damage reduction, but then he keeps it for the whole of the rest of the fight, even if the later phases aren't against those kind of enemies. Whereas this Cell does not have, it doesn't work like that, right? He just gets 50% attack and defense if there is a Tournament of Power enemy, and then if there isn't, he doesn't. Which is an interesting design choice. But yeah, that's the thing. His damage reduction, if he had the extra damage reduction temporarily when receiving a super, was the thing that was locked behind his own revival, and then the guard and 15% damage reduction in general was the one that he gets regardless if somebody else revives. I already think that would be better. I mean, I guess to be fair, in some of the tough events, a super attack is the big thing that is going to kill you, but it all depends again like what his post super defense is looking like, because if he can tank normals from some of the toughest bosses in the game without needing to have that guard and the extra 15% damage reduction, then that's fine, because at least the extra boost that he's getting is against super attacks, which is probably the most important thing. I'm just double checking now, actually, having a look at my boy Halvard that posts the calcs here. So with his intro buff, and then obviously the domain which activates as part of like that thing, his defense post super is like 700k. But when he's fully built up, because obviously he can build up by the attacks and everything without a tournament participant enemy, his post super defense is like 1.8 million. So obviously against a super, if he's getting 30% damage reduction, I mean, he's going to be okay against some attacks, but really that extra 15% and the guard, that's going to make all the difference. So it's like the one that revives is going to be really good, but then the other one, yeah, I don't know, I'm not too sure. But obviously again, we'll have to see in game. So shout out to our boy Prof. Terrible unit. Every TUR since the anniversary was either trash or just okay. They really don't understand how balancing works. They're so afraid of the new leader skill meta, they have to reduce the new kits to nothingness. Pretty sure the only good 2025 DFEs will be the LRs. I mean, Kid Goku is really good. I don't know if, because it says every TUR since the anniversary, which has only been 2. Daima Vegeta was just okay, I think. I wouldn't say he was trash. And then Kid Goku is really good. So I definitely don't agree with this. I mean, Kid Goku is obviously awkward for some teams because of his links, but like he is a very good unit for sure. So yeah, I'm not too sure about this. I mean, Cell's kit is decent, but yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. I don't think I guess it's one of those things. The anniversary characters always come out and are like the best characters in the game. And then we can't really expect like the couple of TURs that come out afterwards, especially when they're not big, are not like big celebration units like Worldwide or Golden Week or something like that. Like these, what we would call filler Dokkan Fest. I don't think anyone should be expecting them to be on the level of the anniversary units, especially when the anniversary units are LRs, but it's interesting. So Mega Nice, the single summon menace, obviously is horrible because he's not a stacker, which means he can't be used in Festival of Battles. Sarcasm aside, he has great utility and dope animations. I like him. I mean, his animations are definitely very, very good. So if anyone says he's not good enough, it's bait 100%. I mean, yeah, he's certainly interesting. I don't know. We got Celtic Link, decent monthly release. Hopefully they build up his team a bit more, since cells tend to want other cells around for links. My major beef is the domain tied to the entrance animation. Not a fan of that design, but it's not a deal breaker. I mean, it's one of those things. It's interesting. I think they did it with like Slug as well, where it's kind of good because it doesn't clash with characters who are using their domains a little bit later on. But obviously on his team, I don't know if there's necessarily any really conflict there anyway. But it will be interesting because obviously with double cell leads, it means you have 10 turns of the domain, which is a pretty decent buff. But we'll have to see. Dude Central has big skipping. Yeah, I will do a summon or skip video for tomorrow where we go over the banner prediction. We'll talk about the fact that, because we should have a data download, we've got a maintenance tonight for Global, and we should get all the data download information. This banner should have the pity coins as well, but Chris Allen says he looks fun like the Lord Slug, Buhan and Fat Boo. Running a double leader won't be the best choice since only one of the cells would be truly perfect. All puns intended. I mean, yeah, again, like the one who gets the revival is going to be really, really good. Whereas I think the other one is going to be lacking a little bit, which kind of makes it so this cell has the most value by being the only copy of himself on the team. Which obviously at the moment, like we're still, you know, post Annie going into this guy being the first 220 lead for Extreme. It's not like we have like a big selection of other Extreme, like big ticket teams that he could be on. But once we do, then I feel like he will have a lot of value when he's the only like copy on the team. Jose says it's going to be a big skip for me. They could have built him way better. I mean, I feel like I said on the stream this morning when I read his kit originally, like he didn't strike me straight out of the gate. And I could be wrong when we see him in game and everything, but especially thinking about 55%, because this is the kind of unit where, you know, as a content creator, I obviously want to get a copy of him so I can do videos and stuff, but I will just get the one copy and then be done summoning. And when I think about how good Lord Slug is at 55%, like, is this guy going to be as good as him? I'm not sure, but we will see. Again, the double leads thing has always been an issue with revival characters, so we'll just kind of have to see how that plays out. Mixed feelings in him. Seems like he'll be decent, but as the first Big Bad Boss's character of the new meta, I was hoping for more kit-wise. I feel like his super attack ends a bit lackluster. I don't mind it's the same Kamehameha as the Int Cell, but needed a KO screen. All the other animations are really good. I mean, yeah, overall, I think his animations are definitely very, very good. Another unit that locks part of the kit behind eating the KO attack. Why did they like giving us Mail Cooler and Int Fat Boo revival conditions? Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, you can kind of play it to your advantage in some events, but also his team is not necessarily going to be one that has a lot of like scouter options. Because ideally you want to see like, you get to sort of like the final phase when the boss is at their hardest, and then deliberately have him eat a super and get the revive. And then he's buffed up ready for like finishing off the final phase. But yeah, obviously his team's not going to necessarily have a lot of really solid scouter options. So I don't know. Have to wait to see his showcase. I mean, really, obviously these posts are to get people's first thoughts just after reading his kit. But I do still subscribe to the fact that this is very important, right? Like seeing the details on paper, you can get an estimation of what the unit's going to do. I mean, you can get an exact equation of the numbers because that's all it really is at the end of the day, a numbers game. Once we know the stats, we can do the calculations to see like what his attack stat will be, what his defense will be, stuff like that. But it's more, you get more of a feel like when you have the hands-on feeling of using the unit and using their team and like putting together the units that are going to work together and like what units are actually going to make a meta relevant team. Because Cell could be the best TUR, but if his team sucks, then obviously that's going to be a huge detriment to him, right? So it will be interesting to see like him actually in game for sure. So Drace, on paper, he looks okay. But as always, we need to see what he actually looks like in game before making a final judgment. Exactly. We know he's a skip. There's no need for people to spam it every time. Just a little venting here. I mean, yeah, the thing is, I say this a lot when we do the summon or skip videos. If you're free to play or you don't spend a lot of money on the game, these like filler Dokkan Fest pretty much should always be a skip, right? Like even Saiyan Day Kid Goku, Saiyan Day being a bit more of a high prestige than like a normal filler Dokkan Fest. And as good as he is, probably a skip, right? Like you should be saving, if you're free to play or a low spender, you want to be saving for the two big celebrations of the year, the anniversary and the worldwide, and then potentially like in between you've got things like Golden Week, the New Year's dual Dokkan Fest, but of course that's like a month before the anniversary. So ideally you should be skipping a lot of these filler Dokkan Fests anyway. But yeah, it is funny because every comment, as long as if the unit's not even like, you know, the next best unit in the game, people will be crying skip. But I think it probably is fairly wise for this guy. But so we have Violence. It seems pretty good. His leader skill sucks though. Why does every single villain need a domain? They already have all of them. He'll probably be good in everything but Festival of Battles. I mean, yeah, I think so. Festival, really, you just have to be a stacker, which he isn't. So here's what it is. Wasted opportunity. We haven't had a super perfect sale since the Int LR. His kit looks mid as hell. Well, there you go. I think his kit looks like decent, decent to good, maybe even very good in the best like case scenarios. But the whole single revival, like his kit being locked behind being the one that revives, kind of sucks. Looks like the Extreme Disrespect gets a revival in 2025. The kit is extremely, pun intended, mid. The leader skill is mid, no stacking, no use running him twice as the leader, and again, no slot 1 unit. Easiest skip of the year. I mean, that's a funny, because it's in a way it's a funny joke, like easiest skip of the year. We're only like 3 months in, but I mean, out of the 3 Dokkan Fests that have released since the anniversary came out, I mean, Kid Goku on paper looks better than this guy. So, I don't know. We'll see. He seems like a decent unit, but an easy skip for me, which is fair. He's alright. I know a certain Dokkan tuber is going to be screaming about how bad he is because he's unrunnable in Festival of Dumpster Fire. Shout out to Truth. He's a good unit. Wish he had more attack. I don't know. I think his attack stats, from what I've seen, are going to be pretty decent. I guess, again, Tournament Participants enemy gives him a lot of extra buffs, but Super Ashi Rose, on paper he seems to be in Martian Boy Boo 2.0. Let him die, uses active to buff himself, and then he has a domain as well to help him and his team. Afterwards he has 35% damage reduction and guard against normals, 65% and guard against supers, which, yeah, I mean, that's again the one that revives is going to be really, really good. But yeah, obviously this guy, if you if you run him as a leader with the friend, only one can get the revive bonus. Same problem with Tech Carnival Goku as leader. That's why the best thing they did was add the thing where it was like, if this unit or another unit revives, and then they gave to, like, you know, the 6-year EZAs, when another unit revives, they get their stat buff, and then they give them a little bit of a sprinkling, like something extra, that if it was them that revives, Goku gets the 100% dodge 1 turn again, and Vegeta gets the guard 1 turn again. One of those is, of course, significantly better than the other one. But, like, it's just a nice little extra thing to have, whereas this Cell getting guard and 15% damage reduction across the board, like unrestricted, is a crazy thing to be tied behind him being the one that has to revive, because it really does make the double lead situation a lot more difficult, which is annoying, but it is what it is. Fanta says, he's really good. I see a lot of people calling him bad because of Festival of Battles, but he really is tanking normals from any phase post-active and revive. Of course, supers kill him, but he's really solid for that fight too. Either way, let's see him in game before we judge. I mean, some of these characters that aren't stackers, they will be good up to a certain point in Festival, but once we get to the characters that are hitting like 7 million attack normals, which actually I think that is just the last 2 bosses, but even Daima Goku and Glorio are hitting like 5 million damage normals. Obviously that's where the units can start to struggle. Farfo says, good, and I will summon. Fair enough. I mean, he's rocking the physical T Zamasu profile picture, so that's a unit that unfortunately was not ever good on release, so just a funny like thing to point out there. Ultra, he seems alright. His teams need a lot of help though. I'm glad he's got a new Dokkan Fest. Would have preferred a 17 from 17 versus Piccolo. That's something that gets mentioned a lot. I know a lot of people want to see. A lot of people wanted to see like a reversible exchange 17 and 18, which I think could have been quite good as well if this slot was going to go to an Android character. But Kit Crow says, seems pretty good to me. Some weird design choices to his kit. 18 seems lacking a bit. Think Cell may be better than we currently think, but could be wrong. Yeah, again, we do need to see in-game, see how he gels well with these other units, what other teams he could potentially be run on. But it really depends on his start of turn defense. If he can be easily killed, then he's honestly not horrible, considering you want him to get killed for the guard and the extra damage reduction. Yeah, exactly. Like early on, I don't think he's going to be a slot 1 unit, so either early on it would be potentially easy to get him killed, or as I say, you could save that revival for the later stages at the end. But I think he really needed to be a triple leader, or at least something other than tournament participants. He needs a bit of help, but a couple of good EZAs could fix that. Besides that, he looks pretty good on paper. Got to see him in game though, which is fair. Now, I've seen a couple of people say this, funnily enough. Matt says, art so bad I wouldn't be summoning even if he was top 1. Yeah, I've seen a few people complaining that his actual card art, like his TUR art, is not particularly good, which is interesting. I don't think it's like crazy good or anything, but I don't think I would say it was bad. But Then we have, I honestly don't know what they were thinking with his leader skill. Also, running 2 of him is annoying since only 1 can get the full revive buffs. Might be better to try and run him as a friend leader while you run Buhan's team. Interesting unit though. Yeah, that could be interesting again, because like if you don't summon for him, you obviously could like use him as a friend for certain kinds of teams. So that'd be interesting. But yeah, so Chili, he's good, but an easy skip for most, which I think is fair. Skip, yeah, fair. Finally, an extreme class unit, thank God. Although, yeah, unfortunately, not as good as we maybe would have liked. A combination of 2 units I hate, Int Broly and Int Fatboo. But why though? Is it Shuckles? They're 2 great units. That's crazy. It's a shame that he's that bad because his animations are actually very cool. They certainly are. Def says I want him but I have to skip. Isaac, he seems to be very good. Definitely will help out the teams he's on. Very pleased. Okay. So there's definitely some like mixed responses here. A lot of people do think he looks pretty good. Int Fatboo 2.0 but without the Ghost Usher. Tired of seeing units get downplayed before even using them. He is solid after revive. On revival units I prefer to revive, so no issue for me. He could be a top 3 TUR. I mean, post-revival on his own individual performance, I could potentially see him being a top 3 or top 5, but need to see that performance first. Waiter, more extreme class domain Dokkan units, please. I know, right? Like, how many is that now? And how many superclass do we have? Like 2? Tech UI and STR Future Gohan? I guess there's technically the free-to-play Int Trunks from when domains were first added, but it's not like he really ever got used. He is solid, but it doesn't move me. Easy skip. Onizuka and skip. This one line sums up the entire unit. When there's a tournament participants enemy, attack and defense 50%. Ophelia says, why did they build a cell unit around tournament participants? That makes no sense. He might end up being the second best TUR if the Easy A's and Part 2 LR help him, but doing the villain unit that needs a good team to shine again is annoying. Yes, very true. Jaren making a very good point here. He's a unit that exists in the video game Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Very true. Naflin says number 1 TUR. Interesting. Okay. Think better than Kid Goku and Glorio. It's an interesting take. Horrible Dokkan Fest, horrible side banner unit, the physical Raditz of 2025, and STR Nappa was far better than Android 18 on release. Oof. I don't know about that. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. He's rocking under 1 million defense start of turn after reviving and without his domain. Then he greatly raises defense on super and can super 4 times. With guard and 65% damage reduction, he's crazy. So full passive, then we've got active skill, big bad bosses, turn 1 start of turn defense, leader skill, base defense. So full passive, so yeah, I think did they mean to say he's over 1 million start of turn? But yeah, I mean, if he can super 4 times in a turn, remember, he greatly raises with each super. So his post-super defense definitely could be very, very good. He looks good, not nearly as dominant as Hungry Goku is. His banner unit choice is quite weird, to be honest. Would laugh when we get an LR Hercule in part 2. Effecto Stylus, leader skill not the best, not the worst. Needs a bit of help. He looks like he's a top tier, top 5. His active and revive is permanent, which is nice. Need to see him in game. Yeah, definitely will be interesting. I'm really looking forward to seeing this guy, because some units we just know, like, they're going to be really good or they're going to be really bad. And then this guy is kind of in that weird sort of spot in the middle where I really want to just see him on his own team, on some other teams, see a bunch of different turns and just see like what those numbers are getting up to and everything. Because he could be very, very good, I think. But yeah, not a fan that the only one cell gets the revive buffs. The last character to do that was Omega, so I thought we left that ability behind. Yeah, reincarnation of Int Fatboo, literally. He seems literally perfect, and now we've got a good example why Festival is not so relevant, because Mr. Perfect Cell is not a stacker, so he's not good for the Festival, but for other content he is perfect. I mean, that is one of those things. It's a W in the column for the Festival of Battles Doesn't Matter crowd, because yeah, he's not a stacker. So Biffy says he's basically the same as Boo from last year. Venom Star, you have to die and be fighting a tournament character enemy to have his full passive, otherwise he loses a bunch of stuff. 65% damage reduction is great. Good luck getting there with a full passive. Because yeah, I mean 65% is only against a super as well, post revival. But Anyway, that's a decent chunk of all of the replies here. We're about 25-minute mark video wise. Let me know what you guys think of STR Cell down below in the comment section. Like I said, if you got to the tweet a little too late after I'd recorded the video, or maybe you've updated your thoughts or anything like that, just do let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think of STR Cell. As I say, we will be doing a summon or skip video tomorrow where we go over his banner, things like the coins. Obviously Global will have tickets, all that good stuff. We'll be talking about that in a video for tomorrow, but let me know all your thoughts on STR Cell down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.